You know why you're here, so let's just get to the chase. This game is f***ing awesome!
I've identified an approaching enemy and maintain contact to support you.
Now that I've got your attention... Wait, hold up, I forgot some of you watch TikTok. Okay, now that I've got your attention... Armored Core 6 has taken the internet by storm, and, you know, at least that's the case, according to my YouTube recommend... Wait, what the fuck? If you haven't heard about this game, you probably live under a rock. On the moon. Armored Core 6 had an insane hype train and has had incredibly good reviews, but does the game really deserve all the attention it's getting, or is it just an overhyped piece made by the same guys behind Elden Ring? Well, little cherub, allow me to analyze this complex topic for you. Yes, this game is a goddamn masterpiece, and in my opinion, it should get Game of the Year, but it probably won't. And here's why. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is a third-person mech shooter with a great campaign, super fun PvP, as long as you're not playing against one of these fuckers, insane amount of replayability. You can play it a lot, okay? It feels like just yesterday, FromSoft announced that they were reviving the Armored Core franchise after a full-on decade. And now we are here, experiencing one of the greatest games I've ever played. It's no secret just how good this game is. And for some reason, if you're watching this video considering whether or not you should buy the game, do yourself a favor, just buy it. This is one of the very few times where I can say that the game is just as much fun as it looks. The biggest part about Armored Core 6 is how replayable it is, which is a direct result from how much variety there is in the game. Sure, you can use the same 1 or 2 builds throughout the entire campaign, or even in PvP, but the true fun of the game shines through when you start making about 237 different mechs. Some look incredibly badass, like this one, or even fucking Wally. And of course, in true FromSoft fashion, the game doesn't just have one ending. No, that would be way too simple. After you beat the game once, you're immediately booted back to the mission menu and told to get back to work, even though you just finished the game. And that, my friend, it's because it takes 3 whole playthroughs for you to experience the whole thing. Each playthrough is completely changing the way in which you view the narrative, by the way. And I know that Souls games have this thing where the lore and the storytelling is all behind the scenes, but bro, you could literally turn your brain off and not listen to a single word people are saying, and you will still be picking up on the main events throughout the entire narrative in Armored Core 6 throughout all the different playthroughs. The story starts off quite simple because, you know, if you're like me, you don't really want to know about the political shit, you just want to blow things up. You start off as a simple mercenary, and before you know it, you're just committing war crimes. But enough about that, I don't want to spoil anyone, so let's go back to the gameplay. Again, if what you're seeing on the screen seems fun to you, then I can guarantee you 100% that you will like this game. There are so many ways to play the game that I would need an entire video series in itself to explain it. But surely that's overwhelming and it will make things confusing, right? Not really. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not very smart. Whenever I see numbers on a screen, my mind just starts drifting away into different thoughts. Like, you look at this and you go, holy shit, well, what the fuck? But trust me, if a dumbass like myself can understand how all of this works, then so can you. Plus, it's kind of funny that you actually only need to know about 1 or 2 things in this entire menu. But Ark, how do I know if I'm doing it right? To play Armored Core 6 the right way, you gotta ask yourself a very simple question. Am I blowing shit up, and am I having fun while doing so? If your answer to the above is yes, then you're playing the game right as far as I'm concerned. In fact, I would say that making this game boring is more of a challenge than the difficulty in the game itself. I don't think this game is impossibly hard as long as you're willing to adapt. For example, in my first Armored Core stream, I was really struggling with a specific boss, and after dying a bunch of times, I realized that all I had to do was change up my build and the fight became really easy. And while we're on the topic of difficulty, I have something to say to a specific group of people. If you're the kind of person that review bombed Armored Core 6 because you couldn't get past the tutorial boss, then let me tell you a little secret. The game isn't bad. You just fucking suck. I'm so tired of seeing people whining their reviews when they struggle. It happened to Elden Ring with Melania, Iceborne with Elatrion, and now Armored Core 6 with the fucking tutorial boss. You ever heard the saying, get good? That's not us saying that you should be ashamed of your gameplay. That's the Souls community telling you that the baby gloves are now off and it's time to reach your potential. A perfect example of this is a legend known as Let Me Solo Her. A guy who lost to Elden Ring's hardest boss over 200 times before beating her for the first time, only to then get good at the game, become this boss's worst nightmare, and make literal history. So drop your selfish delusion, get in the fucking mech, and I'll see you in Rubicon. The only negative thing that I have to say about this game is that unfortunately there isn't any co-op. Although I find that 3v3s are stupidly fun, and so there isn't really a problem when it comes to the multiplayer. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is a masterpiece in my eyes, and I wish I could talk more about it without going into spoiler territory, but my script writing skills are nowhere near that developed yet, okay? If I say this game is a masterpiece, then how come I think it's not gonna win Game of the Year? That is because I believe that mech shooters are still a niche genre that can easily scare people off, which is kind of funny because the game looks really complicated, but it isn't. And let's be real, 2023 has been one hell of a year for video games. I mean, we've had Tears of the Kingdom, a new Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Hogwarts Legacy, Baldur's Gate 3, Street Fighter 6, and so on. And although my pick for Game of the Year will very likely be Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, I'm very aware that it will probably not win. But my hopes is that even if this game does not get the title that it so rightfully deserves in my opinion, that it will open the door for many out there as their first mech shooter. But that's it for me today. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and if you already got your pick for Game of the Year, drop it in the comments and tell me why. I'm pretty curious to know what you people are going for because this year is going to be a very interesting one. I'll see you guys around. Peace.